I'm 19 years old and my rice purity score is 95. For those of you who don't know what the rice purity test is, it's basically a test that you take to see how, quote unquote, pure you are. I'll put a link in the description, but the link is ricepuritytest.com if you want to take it to see what I'm talking about. Basically, the more things you've done on the list of things on the test, there's 100 different items on the test, your rice purity score goes lower. So since my rice purity score is 95, that means I have done a whopping total of 5 things on the rice purity test. Now, the rice purity test, if you take a look at it, most of it can basically fall under 3 categories, okay? Drugs, sex, alcohol. Why am I talking about this today? Because growing up in high school, I think a lot of times there's a stigma around people who either do or don't partake in what my friends would call the triangle, aka drugs, sex, and alcohol. Okay? So for me and my friends, because we were all fucking nerds, and we still are, most of us, we didn't do any of that in high school because we weren't invited or we didn't go to parties, okay? And that's where most of that stuff happens, at parties, right? So for me, people who did that stuff, it was like we judged them like secretly because we felt like, oh my gosh, that's stuff that I don't fuck with. It's stuff that I don't really want to do, especially when you're in high school. All of those things are technically illegal. The people on both sides of the aisle will judge each other for that, right? I'm sure that people who go to parties all the time have done many things on this rice purity test list, especially in high school, would judge me and my friends back then because, we apparently don't know how to have fun, and I can see that being a valid argument. I'm sure if you do have drugs, sex, and alcohol, you might be having more fun. I'm just going to throw a wild guess out there that might not be true, okay? It's a case-by-case basis, but maybe the average person who is having the opportunity to do those things and wants to do those things and is doing those things is having maybe an objectively higher amount of fun than someone who is not. I know in high school, I did not go out very much because I was a fucking nerd. I didn't know how to prioritize my life, so I didn't do anything, okay? And, my rice purity score in high school was 96. My rice purity score has gone up by 1 in college. I think that the average rice purity score among people that I knew relatively well was probably 70, 80. I could be getting that very wrong, but I'd say it's 70 or 80, right? And that is much lower than 95 already. But at that point in high school, people will just, they'll be more willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll be like, okay, well, he's in high school, he has priorities, whatever. Maybe he doesn't feel good about doing illegal stuff. I don't know. Maybe he's just not into that right now. We'll give him until college for some time to, settle in and check some things off that rice purity test score, right? But when you get into college, people start assuming that you've done more things. And, people, I think at MIT, which is the college I go to, people probably are a little bit more accepting of that than most, but I'm still sure that if you haven't done anything, people will feel a certain type of way about it, whether that's good or bad, right? And that depends on which side of the aisle you are a lot of the time. But here's the thing. We had COVID this year, right? So first semester, I was a freshman, and freshmen were not allowed on campus. So I literally did college 100% from my mom's apartment, which was not fucking fun because I didn't make any friends, and it was really depressing. In semester 2, we went onto campus. We were allowed on campus, right? And it was fun. It was awesome, right? Meeting people, getting to do stuff, whatever, shit like that, right? And it was like, but the thing is that, MIT has one of the strictest COVID policies among any college has ever seen, right? So I feel like compared to other people who I talk to, especially my friends who were at other colleges who might also be very academically oriented but did not have nearly the restrictions that I did. They were going to parties all the time, like raves, because also Massachusetts got their vaccines like relatively late compared to other states. So my friends were vaccinated, going to raves and stuff while I was still waiting for my first dose. And as a result, I did not go to a single party during my second semester. A lot of people, like I said, if they find out that your rice purity score is really high, they'll be like, oh my gosh, he doesn't know how to have fun. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with him? He lives under a fucking rock. I don't know. Like, obviously not all people think like this, but there is certainly a sizable and a relatively significant portion of people, especially in college, who will think that, okay? And I'm just coming to me and other people's defense. I'm sure in college, especially among the older kids, it is very rare to have a rice purity score that's like 95. That is probably extremely rare. You will not see that among many people. But I don't know. I would not be super surprised. Okay, let's say I go through my next year in college where maybe I start going to parties, maybe I start doing more things, maybe I start exploring more. My rice purity score is still over 90. Hell, maybe it might still be like 94, 95. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen, right? But I just don't feel the need to do this stuff. It's like let's talk about drugs and alcohol, right? People get into that stuff because they a lot of the time it's a social thing. That's what I'm told a lot. Maybe they're curious, maybe they're just looking for an escape, which is something that I feel is very unfortunate that people feel like they have to turn to that and eventually they get sometimes addicted to that. I feel like that's a very unfortunate thing. And I just don't want to get caught up in that stuff because first of all, again, I'm 18. No, I'm not 18 anymore. I'm 19 because I just turned 19. That's why I'm making this video. I didn't mention that. Why did I not mention that? Anyway, as you can tell, this video has no editing. And it's because last time I made an unedited video, people seemed to enjoy that, and I had a good time making it because that means I don't have to fucking edit the video, and I can just take the raw fucking footage, put background music over it, and just put it out there. Apparently people enjoy that shit. So I'm gonna make this a new thing where every time I'm just wearing a hoodie, I'm not wearing a hat, I'm just wearing a hoodie over my head. That means I am doing a raw video. So from now on, I'm not gonna really call myself out for doing that. I'm just gonna wear a hoodie. Anyway, enough time wasted talking about that. I'm 19. So that means, a lot of the drugs on the rice purity test are illegal. I don't know what the policy is in Massachusetts, but I really don't care because I don't plan on doing it. So whatever. And since I'm 18, I'm not supposed to be drinking alcohol. Drugs, alcohol, I just don't feel like it's that motivating for me to do that stuff. And I was watching this video by Sneeko, shout out to him, he's a really cool YouTuber, that was saying like, once you start doing drugs and alcohol, you start to realize that regular life in comparison sucks or something like that. Like once you start doing it, you'll keep going back to that high, even if you're not actually addicted. It's just something that you realize like, hey, rather than like working really hard for a goal and getting dopamine that way, why don't I get dopamine and get happiness just from getting high? Why not get dopamine and happiness just from getting drunk? So honestly, I don't even know if I want to open Pandora's box like that. I feel pretty content with my life. I feel like I can have a good time with my friends, with my buddies without, doing any of this stuff on this list. And it's like, why do I need to start? Like, and again, I don't know. I just think it's weird that some people think it's like unfortunate almost if someone's rice purity score is high. Like, obviously, I know probably a large majority of people don't feel any certain type of way negatively about someone like me whose rice purity score is like 95 when they're 19 years old, right? But people like, even when they don't, they're like, they find out like my rice purity score, just find out I haven't done anything like they have, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so pure, you're so innocent. Like, sure, I guess. Like, why does that matter though? Does it really matter? Does it not? I don't know. Well, do people judge me? I'm sure some people do, but I'm starting to realize that less people do than I think, but it's still something that people care about, and it's like something that a lot of people know about. And if your rice purity score is higher, then people treat you certain. I don't know. It's a huge clusterfuck. And I just want to communicate to everyone that I don't care. Like, I don't care about the rice purity score really at all. I just think that it's stupid how much people either care about it or want to check off certain boxes on here, because honestly, I feel like it's not that important. It's not that important. Rice purity scores are stupid. My rice purity score is really high, and I doubt it's going to go down that much over the next year unless something really drastic changes. So there you go. But I am 19. My birthday was a week ago. Happy birthday, fucking birthday to me. And yeah, if you like this video and you're still here somehow, even though I didn't edit that video and that video was trash, you should like and subscribe, because clearly you fuck with me at least a little bit if you got through video like that. And most of my other content is much higher quality because I actually edit the video. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video and you're new, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 10K in this channel. Anyway, goodbye everyone. Stay anxious everyone. Have a great, beautiful rest of your day. Peace out. I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time if you're still watching. Goodbye.